Bunu kaydedeceğiz. Eğer kaçırırsanız ya da erken ayrılmak zorunda kalırsanız sorularınız olursa chat'e iletebilirsiniz. Son kısmını aslında soru cevap için ayırdık. O da burada 25 dakikalık bir sunum yapacak. Sorularınız olursa lütfen hiç çekinmeyin, iletin. Biz tercüme edebiliriz hepsini. Türkçe ya da İngilizce direkt iletebilirsiniz ya da kendiniz sorabilirsiniz sonunda. Şimdiden çok teşekkürler. Hi Holly, thank you for being with us. We can start the session.
Wonderful. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
of course. Thank you. My name is Holly Arnold. I'm the Associate Director of Admission here with the Webb Schools. I've been with Webb for about 2 years now. I came from 13 years of higher education admission work, and so great to have all of you here. And I look forward to meeting you afterwards, one-on-one as well, at another time as well. So welcome to Webb. We are the Webb Schools. Let me go to the next slide here. We're located in Southern California. So we are right there. So you see the map of California with a beautiful aerial view of our campus. We are on 150 acres of land, only built on about 70 acres though. So we have lots of beautiful hiking trails. We're in the foothills here. We are in LA County, in Claremont. And so you'll see where we are located in respect to where California is. But you'll see on the screen here our mission statement. So a lot of times the number one question we get is, what are you looking for in a student? And we're looking for students who are thinking boldly, mindfully, and creatively. We're looking for students that are acting with honor and moral courage. We very much uphold the honor code here. Many times, if you visit our campus, you'll see backpacks just laying around outside, sometimes circling a fountain or outside the library. And you come back 9 hours later and they are still there. So it's a very respectful environment. You leave something somewhere, it's there later when you come to pick it up. We're looking for students who lead with distinction. So leaders, students who are coming in as leaders and also leaving as leaders. So all of these very much account for our alumni, what they're going off into the world after the 4 years here. And they're doing magnificent things with all of these skills. So we're looking for leaders and then serving with a generous spirit. So community service is very big here. We do require our students to be involved in an afternoon activity or a sport, and so we do have community service year-round offered to our students. I work closely with our community service students as well. They help us here in the admission office. So we do very much uphold community service here at Webb. And of course, again, California is our campus. So our students love to get outside. That's a photo of our students at Joshua Tree National Park, and then a photo of Los Angeles. So again, we are in Los Angeles County, so we have access to all of the museums and the arts and culture that are in Los Angeles, but then also the lovely beaches that are in Orange County. So due to our location, we very much get outside of the four walls of the classroom, and our students love to learn outside. They actually just a week ago returned back from their senior trips. The boy seniors, they actually go hike the Grand Canyon National Park. And the girl seniors actually go to Yosemite National Park and they go hiking there. So that's their senior tradition. So again, they love to get outside. And here is just a fun little map of, again, where we are located, where Webb is. So you'll see in the upper right-hand corner, Claremont. We're right by the Claremont colleges, which I will talk further about our partnerships with those institutes that are less than a 10-minute drive from here. You'll see our proximity to downtown Los Angeles and Santa Monica and Hollywood. Film producing. A lot of our students really are interested in possibly going into the entertainment industry. So we have all sorts of interests from our students. We're close to the beaches. We have some fun classes where you can go learn about marine biology at nearby Catalina Island. So our students maybe on the weekends they're going to Disneyland. So there's always something to do in the area. And also we have multiple international airports. So our students definitely you can get from anywhere to Webb. All right, a little bit more about Claremont, where we are located and where we've been for over 100 years. We were actually founded in 1922, so we have been around for quite some time in the Claremont area. We are known as the city of trees and PhDs, and that's because of the nearby colleges. There's 7 colleges right down the street, 5 undergrad, 2 graduate colleges, known as the Claremont Colleges Consortium. So Claremont as a whole, the residents, 42% of the residents have degrees, which is a lot higher than possibly other areas. And we also have over 25,000 trees just within Claremont alone. So again, beautiful landscape. Of course, a reason to get outside again for our students. So we have that proximity to the colleges that I will talk about a little bit more with our partnerships and our students that take classes over there. So just a little bit about the Claremont, California area. So at Webb here, we have 400 students. We stay around 400 students. We are 65% boarding and 35% day. So we are a boarding and a day school. We have students currently from 16 different countries and 13 different US states. So we are about 23% international. This is actually a photo from our convocation last year in August. It's a wonderful time for all of us. We all got together and wore our Webb shirts, and we welcome in the new class and get ready for the upcoming year. So again, if you look at it, we're only 9th through 12th grade, so we're only high school. So that's about 100 students per grade level. That's definitely somewhere where we want to stay. We keep it small on purpose. But again, to be a day student, you have to live within a day city community, and we do have that list. It's typically the nearby surrounding towns, and then if you live outside of those towns, then your student would have to be a boarding student. So again, 65% boarding here, and we have 10 total dorms on campus, which I'll talk a little bit more as well later. All right, so going inside the classroom, this is a lovely picture of one of our world language classrooms. You can actually see their chairs. I've been told that Stanford University also has these same chairs in their classroom. The chairs all move, they're all movable. Because we're a very collaborative environment, lots of whiteboard walls within the classroom. The way that our teachers teach is maybe they will talk for 15, 20 minutes in the beginning of class. And then the rest of the time, the students collaborate together. They learn from one another. Again, they get outside the classroom. So that's very much a hands-on type of learning here, very collaborative. So our student to faculty ratio is 6:1. And our average class size is 12 students. And over 90% of our faculty do hold advanced degrees here. And I would say just about the same percentage also lives on campus here. So we are fully a 7-day boarding school. So we have many of our faculty and their families live here on campus. The students get to interact, and maybe they're baking at a faculty's home, or maybe they're going for a barbecue, and they see them walking their dogs on campus. So it's a very family-friendly environment. So we have what's called the Webb experience. So these are some fun photos of our students. Again, getting outside the classroom, getting involved in the community. We do have our paleontology museum here. So we are the only high school campus in the world that has an accredited paleontology museum. So you'll see that in the upper right-hand corner there. Over 90% of what is found in the museum has been found by our students and faculty. So they go out on these overnight digging trips. Like I mentioned, those senior trips of the students hiking the Grand Canyon in Yosemite. You might see a photo here as well from that. And then, of course, we have some athletic teams that I'll go into a little bit more later as well. So all of that makes up the Webb experience. So in 9th and 10th grade, you might be wondering, what is the curriculum like? So the curriculum for the 9th and 10th grade is pretty well set. It's really your 11th and 12th grade where you're going to have a lot more flexibility in choosing maybe some elective classes that strike your interest for the students. So you'll see the science, the math, the humanity courses, the world languages. We do have Spanish, French, and Chinese here. We do require the students actually to take 4 years of a world language. And so if they are already taking a world language, we would have them test in to make sure that they're at the specific level when they come in as a ninth grader. Um, in the math class. The math class is also, the students would take a test coming in to make sure that they are in the correct math class as well. But other than that, the rest of the classes is pretty well set for ninth and 10th grade. And then we do have our fine arts classes as well. If your student does play an instrument, there is a test for that as well, that they would have to do like a quick performance, and to make sure, for the symphonia and for the orchestra. We do have a 55-piece orchestra here on campus, and that is also one of the afternoon activities that a student can do. So again, the 9th and 10th grade curriculum, pretty well set here. But when you go into 11th and 12th grade, you have a lot more flexibility in your electives. So you'll see that there's plenty of elective classes for your science, math, humanities. Again, you're taking 4 years of a world language. And then you are required to take that fine arts / electives as well. So maybe it's students are taking a computer science course at the nearby Harvey Mudd College. That's part of the Claremont Colleges. Maybe they're joining that paleontology program at our museum. So our students actually they can actually volunteer at the museum, and they can do advanced research their 11th and 12th grade years. And they actually, some of them actually go to conferences and present their research. So you really can do some high-level paleontology work here at Webb if you're interested. And then we have what's called our Advanced Studies program. So our Advanced Studies are courses that our faculty, they come up with, they create, and it really incorporates what you would maybe learn in the AP classroom, but incorporates things that are happening in the real world outside. So of course we have creative nonfiction, culture and politics of the border. So Gothic horror and literature, I think, is a favored one here. Organic chemistry. So we do have, and they're kind of ever changing as well. Our faculty are always creating new courses every year. But this is just a small glimpse of some of our advanced studies courses that our faculty have come up with, the Cold War era. So there's lots of classes to choose from that really kind of take in multiple areas, I would say, and kind of mix that into very interdisciplinary studies. Some new course offerings, like I mentioned, our faculty are always coming up with new classes. These are just some new classes that will be offered for 2025-2026 school year. So we have the Advanced Studies through Theoretical Physics, Honors Astrophysics. So definitely, if we have science classes, we have creative classes, we have business classes, we have the film entertainment classes. So we have the honors film history and theory. So there's really something for everyone just based on your students' interest. And then, of course, as I mentioned, learning beyond the classroom. So learning beyond those 4 walls. Our students love to get out and get involved in the community. So since we have those 7 colleges right down the street from us, a lot of our faculty have studied at those colleges or have connections with those faculty there. So we do have students who go and learn in a college classroom setting taught by a college professor, but they're learning amongst their peers. So we do have students that go through the computer science program at Harvey Mudd College, as I mentioned. We have curators at Pomona College's Museum of Art. We have entrepreneurship programs at Claremont McKenna College. So we have these world-renowned colleges just right down the street from us, less than a 10-minute drive. So our students actually get to go be in that classroom setting and take college-level classes. And then, of course, we have field studies. So again, the proximity that we are, in Los Angeles County, we have lots of opportunities. So we have the Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles. We have botanical gardens. We have museums, art museums. We have the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, so NASA, not too far from us. So our students, again, they're getting outside the classroom. They're learning in other environments, and maybe they're interested in, we have the Aquarium of the Pacific down in Long Beach here. So our students have lots of different opportunities to go learn in real world, scenarios and get outside just the classroom space here at Webb. And it's really an amazing opportunity that our students have just based on the location here that we have. So we are a very innovative school here. So our students are always, maybe they're in the lab spaces. I know that one of the classes that they do in physics every year is they get to design roller coasters, and they actually get to present their models at the LA County Fair, which is about 10 minutes from here. So they're always being inventive, doing wonderful things here at Webb. So leading into that is we have what's called the AI project at Webb. So the center photo here, what you're seeing, we have some 3D printers, and that white structure is a robotic arm that our students actually get to work with. There's also a sound booth in the back there for any sort of like recordings that our students want to do. We also have, everyone's heard of ChatGPT, I'm sure. We have WebGPT. So we have our own version called WebGPT. Every staff, faculty, student has a login. And it's really a way we're teaching the students how to use these tools, in a positive way. How to use it to help you in life, in not hurting in any ways of their studies, but how to actually work with these tools in a successful way. So we have WebGPT that we've created. We actually had an alum come back and help us get that up and running, which was really an awesome thing. And then we have this new partnership with USC, with University of Southern California. So we actually had Dr. Phoebe come in. She did a presentation for all of for the entire school, and she talked about just using AI with Los Angeles County to address some issues and try to solve. I know one of the projects was solving homelessness in Los Angeles area, so it was really, really cool to see how they were using AI with that. But we have this new partnership with USC as well. So lots of innovative things going on. I know our students were part of like an AI project here, so that's continuing on, and lots of our students are super excited about that. We also have our robotics lab here. We actually have 4 robotics teams here. Southern California is a very competitive region for that, and our students successfully do very, very well. So leading into some of the activities that we have here at Webb. So as I mentioned before, we do require our students to be involved in an afternoon activity. They do have to be a part of at least one athletic sport per year because we do not have a traditional PE program. So they do have to be involved in one athletic program per year. They could, of course, be involved in one every semester, but at least one is the requirement. And the semesters that they're not in an afternoon or in a sport, they have to be involved in an afternoon activity. So maybe that's something like community service. Maybe that's being a part of musical theater. Maybe it's just being a part of the theater tech, running the lights and the sound in the background. We have a pretty extensive theater program here. So they do a play every fall. There is a dance show in the winter, and then they do a musical every spring. So I know recently they did Little Shop. Last year they did Chicago. It is on our YouTube channel if you ever want to see some of our performances. They're really, really fantastic. And again, maybe their afternoon activity is robotics or debate or yearbook. So they do have to be involved in something. So, their last class of the day, they're going straight into their afternoon activity or their sport. And in Mention with Sports, we have 15 different athletic sport offerings, and I believe over 40 different teams offered. So we do have, because we have that requirement that they have to be involved in a sport, we do have everything from beginner to varsity levels. So we have, and again, for girls and boys, we have the 15 different athletics here, but again, at every level because of that requirement. And then going into a little bit about student life. So we have lots of different traditions. Lots of different kind of festivities that our students get involved in throughout the year. We have like a Webb talent show that they do. I know every year that they kind of get to perform their talents for. They have lots of kind of competitions with the grade levels, or even the dorms have their own competitions. So we have a very extensive student life program here. We have a very extensive weekend program. So like I said, 65% of our students are boarding, so they live in those 10 dorms on campus. So every Wednesday, the community receives an email of what's happening for the weekend, and they get to sign up. Maybe they're going to, some of my favorites were they went to a cat cafe in Los Angeles, or maybe they are going to Disneyland. Maybe they're going to try a new restaurant in Orange County, or they're going to like a Star Wars convention in Burbank, California. So there's always something to do. It changes every weekend. We have Webb vans that take the students that sign up for these events off campus. Of course, we have the typical Target runs, or our students love to go to In-N-Out Burger nearby. So those, of course, are most weekends as well. But there's always something for our students to do. So this is kind of little collage of just some of the fun that our students, of course, the academics are rigorous, but we also encourage them to have lots and lots of fun here as well. And so a little bit about our clubs and our student leadership. So we do have over 87 different student-run clubs. So if we always say if there's not a club already existing that a student is interested in, they can always create one. They have everything from coding, to cooking, to photography, to dance. So really, this is just a small glimpse of the 87 plus student run clubs that we have. And we also have 8 different student leadership opportunities as well. So those would be your peer advisors that are kind of like a big brother, big sister. They run a freshman seminar, just kind of welcoming the students into Webb that every 9th grader takes. We have our admissions has our admission fellow program. They actually take all of our visitors around campus. They do tours and they help us with our events. We have there's honor council with Webb. There's student government. So we have 8 different student leadership opportunities in addition to those 87 plus student run clubs, and that's ever changing. When I first started 2 years ago here, it was around 80, so of course it just keeps growing. And of course, here's a little picture of our students. We very much, as I talked about in our mission statement, we're really empowering tomorrow's leaders. So we're really helping these students to, like gain those leadership qualities and skills to really go out into the real world and to really be positive and enlighten others to be leaders as well. And then, of course, college guidance. So a lot of students, maybe and parents too, college guidance, college preparation is at the top of your list. So this was our previous school, our seniors. They all wear their shirts of where they're going off to school. And below is a list of just the top 40 colleges that Webb students matriculate most to. So again, it's not the full list by any means, but it's just the top 40 colleges that our students matriculate to the most. So we have lots of California schools, lots of East Coast schools, and lots of international schools as well. And so a little bit about the admission and financial aid process. So January 15th, it's the same deadline every year. So whether or not you're looking to apply maybe this fall or the following fall, January 15th is typically always the admission deadline. It's also the deadline. So part of the application process is we don't require, but we heavily encourage an interview. You can do an interview through Zoom. You can come to campus and get a campus tour and do an interview. But it's a great way for us to get to know the student a little bit more. We make them very fun, so nothing to be nothing to be worried about or nervous about for the student. We make it very fun for them. But again, we will do them on Zoom. We start scheduling them early fall, and we'll do them all the way up to January 15th. And we also have like a small, if you're not able to do the Zoom interview or the in-person interview, we have a small kind of recording interview that we offer as well. But again, not mandatory, just highly recommended. So part of that part of the application process, there's a short answer portion for the students and for the parents. And then there are recommendation letters. So we do ask for the current English teacher recommendation letter, the current math recommendation, and then there's the head of school or their counselor recommendation, and then transcripts, of course, of the current year and previous year. And then we don't actually request test scores. So the SSAT or anything like that, we don't require that. Even if you submit them, we're not going to look at that. The only test that we do require is the English proficiency test. If your student has not been in a primarily English speaking institution for the past 2 years, we do require that English test. So maybe that's the TOEFL or Duolingo. So we do require that if you're not in a primarily English speaking institution for 2 years. And then our notifications go out on March 10th. So that, again, that is the same year, same time every year. March 10th is always, it will go out digitally into the student's profile. So we have lots of students who will log in and see their decision there on March 10th. And then, of course, we do have a summer program. So it's a wonderful opportunity for our younger students to really get to know Webb and to kind of test out maybe what boarding is all about. So we have a summer program every July. We actually have 2 different sessions offered. And it's a 10-day program where our students get to come live in our dorms, and they make wonderful friends and they have a lot of fun. And they do some learning as well. So we have 5 different tracks that we offer. So of course, the paleontology track. We have science and engineering, how to be creative. I believe that's a new one this year. We have global change makers and medical science. So our students will come for the 10 days. Parents who would come drop them off, have a nice lunch, get a campus tour. And then after those 10 days, you would come back and pick them up. They can, of course, do a bridge program, which is they do both programs. So maybe they do science and engineering the first 10 days, and then they could always do, paleontology the next program. So that's also an option. They want to spend a little bit more time here, but it is for our rising 7th, 8th, and 9th graders. So it's a wonderful opportunity, again, for our younger students to kind of get a glimpse of what Webb has to offer and what it's like to be a boarding student here at Webb. So that is a separate application, and that, feel free to reach out to me on any of these items. I'm happy to put you in contact or give you further information on how to proceed with any of these or answer your questions. And that's the end of my presentation. So again, I thank you so much for joining me today. There's always information on our website. Please feel free to check out our website at any time. And I know that my contact information will be shared as well. I would be your connection in your contact. So I'd be happy to talk offline at another time with all of you as well. So thank you again.
Thanks, Holly. It was a great
Sure.
session, very informative. There are a couple of questions in the chat box
Can I
from
just
the
say one
parents.
thing
Sure,
for Turkish
Yeşim.
students? I mean, we don't have a ton of place, but I noticed like a couple hundred have watched already, and I'm thinking we're gonna get some parents coming back in after work this evening. But we've got a lot of students in the Claremont colleges from Robert College and Üsküdar. They're really popular. They're excellent institutions. If anybody has questions about the liberal arts education they have to offer, we always like present them and talk about them in our webinars. So I'm really excited about Web. So I just wanted to say that. So I live in Orange County. So if anybody wants to come and see the school, they can also stop by and see me. So sorry, Yasemin, go ahead.
Thanks, Yeşim. So there are a couple of questions from our parents. They're asking if you offer AP program regarding curriculum. Maybe you can provide it.
Yes,
information.
definitely.
Great.
So one thing that you will see as you're looking at independent schools is actually AP classes being phased out. So we, as of the start of next year, officially have phased out our AP courses. We've done lots of research with Ivy League institutions, and we've seen that our faculty, we really want them to have that flexibility of being able to learn outside of just learning to an AP test. If a student still wants to take an AP test, we definitely will provide, that testing. We'll take them to the testing sites, anything like that. But we, starting next year, will not be offering AP classes. We do have those advanced studies courses. Many of our top schools, many schools around the world know of Webb's curriculum. So they know already the high level of teaching that we're offering to our students. And the school has just found collectively as a whole to phase out the AP courses. You will see that at a number of independent schools, that trend, but we've just seen that it's no longer there's no longer a need for that, and it really allows for our faculty to teach just at a wider space for the curriculums, and it has not in no way has affected any sort of college acceptances. It's been a phase actually for quite some time, but starting next year will be completely off, like out of the curriculum.
Thanks, Holly. The
Mhm.
next question is, for which grades do you accept the students?
Sure, yeah. So we are high school only, so we are 9th through 12th grade. So we do accept students for 9th, 10th, and 11th. We do not accept for 12th grade, but 9th, 10th, and 11th, we have students every year come in for.
Are you accepting any late admits, Holly?
We are always accepting applications. So if you are still interested, we're happy to look at your application. So those are just kind of the acceptance letters are going out just kind of on a case by case basis.
Yep.
But yes, of course, if someone is still interested,
And you are the contact, correct?
I will be your contact. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Last one is from my end, about the finance. Do you offer any financial aids, any scholarships? They would like to learn more about the tuition and additional expenses.
Sure, yeah. So we do have a financial aid committee. So I'd be happy to talk further offline with any family that is interested in learning more.
Thank you. Any more questions?
And I'm happy to do a one-on-one at any time.
Yeah,
I know
probably
we'll get
they'll
that set
book
up.
you. Yeah, you share your contacts so they can book you
Yeah,
to discuss further.
yeah.
Any
Yeah,
questions?
that was very
No?
informative. Thank you, Holly. That you really covered the waterfront.
Thank you.
It's a fabulous opportunity. I mean, there are a lot of people who believe have done a lot of work in the independent school world that Webb is one of the three premier institutions in California alone. Um, and we understand how popular you can be. So we would encourage families to get their materials in on time, as early as they possibly can. It is competitive, but
Hmm.
it's worth it if
Yeah.
kids are ready for it. It's one of the premier institutions in the country, and we really appreciate your participation.
Of
Thank you
course.
so
Thank
Would
you.
you
much.
just want to say you have Holly's email? I mean, obviously you'll write if you have questions, but they've already allotted some spots so you can meet with them. So if we can help you just schedule, let us know, right? Am I right? Yes, I mean, yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, we can schedule your meeting so you can, talk with them. Or of course you can contact them directly. Whatever is best.
Okay, I stopped recording.